And, I have to admit, I was one of those guys at one point in my life. I was the young guy. I was the young guy that was looking up to the guy with the flashy car and all that stuff. And I was also, when I grew up, as I got a little older, I was the other guy that had all the nice cars and the jewelry, and just all the things that that people admire. And a lot of young guys looked up to me. And as a result of that, a lot of them, they paid close attention to everything that I was doing. And a lot of them are not around right now. A lot of them, sadly, they're sadly in the graveyard, under a tombstone. And a lot of them are doing life in prison at this very moment as I make this video. Now, I'm not proud. I'm not proud of the things that I did throughout my life, but I have to say it was a learning experience, and I would advise any young man that is growing up, in these times, I advise you to not get involved with street life activity, because there is no happy ending. Like I always say, there are no happy endings in the street life. Take it from this young guy. Take it from this young guy. Take it from this young guy. He's in there. His mom is trying to get him to tell the truth, and he finally breaks, and it all comes out. It was peer pressure, but whether it's peer pressure or not, once you murder a person, there is no going back. There is no do-overs, man. That person is gone. You have to suffer the consequences for your action. You understand? Whether you're 13 or you're 32, you have to face the consequences for the actions you committed. And a lot of times those consequences run very deep. And they could really do some damage, man, on the years that you have left in your life. Sometimes you could get a long stint, you can get a long bit, and other times you can get life or even death penalty, for something that it took a half a second, a crime that it took half a second to commit. So just take that into consideration, when you look at how juicy the streets might look to you as a